Um, the Republicans are caught off guard by the Democrats' ferocious backlash. Now, the GOP is an authoritarian extremist political party. A second. Um, that is out of the mainstream of American life. Um, Now, for as long as I can remember, the Democrats have been on the defensive about enacting their agenda because it was assumed that it would engender a backlash among the silent majority. As former as former President Richard Nixon called it, are what modern Republicans call real America, reacting to the counterculture of the 1960s and the massive social changes it engendered. Uh, the left wing of the Democratic Party was always admonished by the centrist and conservative wings not to go too far or too fast. Um, the media even asserted that America is a conservative country as if it were an act of God. This article of faith hobbled progress for a very long time, and it empowered the Reagan Revolution through the Tea Party and Donald Trump's maggot movement. Um, Now, nobody ever seemed to consider that enabling the right wing to become more and more extreme over the course of many years might engender a backlash of its own. Um, it appears as if that time may have finally come, and it's clear that the Republican establishment doesn't know what to do about it. And the question is, do the Democrats either even know what to do? We started out with the former squatter and the current GOP squatter frontrunner being indicted in New York over the payment of hush money to conceal information that might have damaged his chances in the 2016 election. It's a huge story, but it's not unanticipated, nor is it the last prosecution that Donald Trump is likely ever to face. Um, the most interesting aspect of it remains the fact that the Republican establishment is circling the wagons around him once again, while Republican voters seem determined to push him to the nomination. Now, this is despite the fact that he will be under indictment on felony charges in at least one case and probably more to come. Now, proving once again that no amount of norm busting, corruption, or criminal behavior is a deal breaker with his cult. Um, Now, Trump has trained them to believe that it's all an elaborate conspiracy against him, which it's not. But this week also showed that something else is afoot. And yes, Trump is a galvanizing force in Democratic politics going all the way back to the massive global women's march back in 2017. His grotesque behavior motivated millions of people, especially women, to organize, and it paid off in every election since then. Donald Trump has been dragging the GOP down for years, but they just can't quit him. However, the party's rapid descent into extremism is bigger than Trump, and the backlash is continuing to show itself in many ways that are shattering the status quo. With what happened in Wisconsin, the swing state of Wisconsin has been a battleground for years, with a polarized electorate that has had power swinging back and forth between the two parties with razor-thin majorities. It was assumed that the high-stakes election this week for Chief Justice of the Supreme Court would be a tight one. Um, the future of the outrageous gerrymandering that makes Republicans massively overrepresented in the state legislature was at issue, but most importantly, the abortion rights were front and center. Abortion has been illegal in the state since abortion has been illegal in the state since last June, when the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, and it, the law banning and with an archaic law banning abortion that had been on the books since 1849, it was no longer moot. The hard right legislature and the conservative state Supreme Court wasn't going to fix this. So the election turned on those two intersecting issues. The abortion rights and democracy were on the ballot, with the first being denied as a result of the Republicans manipulating the map to undemocratically seize more power than what the people had voted for. The anti-abortion candidate, a Trumper by the way, lost by 10 points, a miracle in that polarized electorate. Now with good organization by the state Democratic Party, which saw an uptick in 18 to 29-year-old voters, which is a big gender gap, and even surprisingly inroads among white, non-college educated voters, abortion rights and the democracy advocacy carried the day. Now also in Chicago, meanwhile in Chicago, just as in Los Angeles, that particular few days ago, the progressive mayoral the guy that was running for the progressive guy that was running for mayor had won despite the widespread expectations that the centrist law and order candidate would prevail as a result of the right wing fear mongering about crime. Um, Now, the head of Chicago's Fraternal Order of Police, who was a Trumper, had threatened that 1,000 police officers would walk off the job if Brandon Johnson, the eventual winner, was elected. Now, the stale law and order hand wringing didn't work in 2022, and it didn't work this week either. And it's yet another sign that the extremism of right wing rhetoric and policies is turning off voters' backlash. And then there was the grotesque display that we witnessed in Nashville, Tennessee on Thursday when the Republicans expelled two black lawmakers, Justin Pearson and Justin Jones, for staging a protest for gun safety legislation on the floor of the House. Now here's an illustration of what took place: an odious, condescending comment delivered by a Republican House member who was clearly hard pressed not to go full Bull Connor and address his colleagues as boy. Um, uh, and then there were some tweets that were made. Um, Now, I'm not sure what Farmer said, but there is a tweet here that actually has a little video. Okay, let me turn this up so I can actually hear what it was saying.
Here in this Tennessee General Assembly, that's why you're standing there. Because of that temper tantrum that day. For that yearning to have attention. That's what you wanted. But you're getting it now. So I just advise you, if you want to conduct business in this house, file a bill. Be recognized, stand there and present it, and pass it. All you gotta do is pass the bill. Representative Pearson.
Now, you all heard that. How many of you would want to be spoken to that way? How many of you want to be spoken to that way? We're not talking about politics. We're not talking about even gun violence. How many of you?
Okay, you get the idea of that one, where basically he was basically not happy with the way that the guy said something. So after six people, including 3 little children, were shot down in the national school, citizens protested the state's insanely loose gun laws that allowed the shooter to legally obtain firearms, despite a history of that shooter having mental illness. The anti-democratic Republicans, yes, Tennessee is ridiculously gerrymandered as well, essentially scoffed at their concerns, attacked their colleagues' First Amendment rights, and then showed the entire country in living color that they are unreconstructed racists on top of it, by instituting the political death penalty against 2 black legislators for a minor rules violation. In this instance, we are seeing the burning issue of gun violence converge with the issue of democracy and systemic racism, and while it hasn't yet been fully demonstrated, the fact that the 2 ousted legislators are also quite young, as are most of the protesters, makes me think that we are on the verge of seeing another backlash developing. And look at the age of the protesters. And this dispatch from the local Tennessee journalist suggests that some Republicans sense that too. Now, the GOP is an authoritarian extremist political party that is out of the mainstream of American life, as New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said after the event in Nashville on Thursday. Now, Republicans may think that they won today in Tennessee, but their fascism is only further radicalizing and awakening an earthquake of young people, both in the South and across the nation. If you thought youth organizing was strong, just wait for what the fuck's gonna come next. And backlashes go both ways, and this one is coming from the Democrats, and it's about fucking time. So if you like the video, you can get the video, like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. You can also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out. You can also go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. You can hit the subscribe button. Also, and also leave a comment, let me know what you think. And if you want to support my work even further, you can donate to my Patreon link, which you can find in the about section of YouTube. And for just as little as a few bucks a video or a month, your donation can help go a long way, and thanks for listening.